Hey guys, Lancy here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining me while we continue on to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoilers. Or wait, are these even spoilers? No, sorry. This is just the set review for blue. Now, I did white the day before, so I'm going to just move on to blue and then I'll continue with this for the next couple of days. I'm also going to release a weekly price checkup. I'll probably do those more often just to see because I think things are going to change rapidly in the next couple of days. So let's get right to it. So the first card, Acquisition Octopus. 2 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/2 artifact creature equipment Octopus. Whenever Acquisition Octopus or a creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, reconfigure 2. It feels like this is actually not bad in the right decks. And more importantly, if it comes in as a creature, because it's an artifact creature equipment Octopus, you can attach it to a creature or unattach it from a creature, reconfigure only as a sorcery. While it's attached, this is not a creature. You can possibly avoid the first time of a board wipe if you're playing this in a color that cares about board wipes and stuff like that, or combination that cares about board wipes. I actually think that there's some possibilities for this being actually a decent playable commander card in decks that have creatures that want to deal damage and draw cards. Rogues and possibly ninjas, creatures that just don't get blocked very often. Anyways, next one, Anchor to Reality, 2 colorless, 2 blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. If it had a mana value less than the sacrificed permanent's mana value, scry 2. 4 mana, you got to sacrifice an artifact or a creature. It lets you go and find one, but the best part of it, it puts it onto the battlefield. Now, what about that new Caldara equipment that costs 7 mana? Or what's the Battle Skull thing? That's a 4/4 token that has lifelink and vigilance. Yeah, I can see this becoming better and better as there's more vehicles and equipments, especially equipments, that come in with a germ token that they then attach to, which means you can do this at sorcery speed and get a quite useful item that your deck may or may not need at that time, put it in play, or you can just get a beat down creature. And this is actually quite good. It's unfortunate that it's sorcery speed, but you're in blue, you can work around that sometimes. Armguard Familiar, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/1 artifact creature equipment beast. With Ward 2, a creature gets +2/+1 and has Ward 2, and reconfigure 4. It's actually kind of cool just by itself, and the fact that it's got a little bit of an add-on with a reconfigure, even though the reconfigure is expensive, I like it. Looks pretty cute. Awakened Awareness X and 2 blue for enchantment aura. Enchant artifact or creature enchanted. When Awakened Awareness enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on enchanted permanent. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, its base power and toughness is a 1/1. Wait a second. So for 2 blue, I can make any enchantment, any artifact or creature a 1/1 creature. So I can make a Darksteel. I guess you don't want to make a Darksteel Forge into a 1/1 indestructible thing that then gives all of the other artifacts indestructible. But if you make it a creature, you can do other things to it that can make it disappear. You could do this to a commander, making them a 1/1 creature. Or you can do it to one of your clue tokens, making that into a 4/4. I don't know. This is kind of weird. It feels more or better as a removal spell than it does as a pump spell. But either ways, I guess it gives you flexibility. 2 and 1. Covert Technician. Covert Technician. 2 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/4 artifact creature ninja. A human ninja. That's a lot of creature types. I mean, artifact creature, human ninja. So cool. Ninjutsu, 1 blue, 1 colorless. Whenever Covert Technician deals combat damage to a player. You may put an artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the damage from your hand onto the battlefield. Not bad, especially if you can instantly pump it up and you're playing a deck that's got heavily artifact creatures, because you got to remember this itself is an artifact to begin with. In Kamigawa and then in all of Magic, there are plenty of artifact creatures or artifact things that are great when they enter the battlefield, and if they're free, that's even better. So this is a pretty good card. And for 3 mana, it's a 2/4 blocker. This will be pretty good in limited as well. Discover the Impossible, 2 colors, 1 blue for an instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down and put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it is an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. If you don't, put that card into your hand. 3 mana, dig 5, look for an instant to get you out of this, most likely a counter spell. You had to have 5 mana open, 6 mana open. It looks cool. The card might be great in foil. It's a bit niche, you have to play in the right decks. Disruption Protocol, 2 blue for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, tap an untapped artifact you control or pay 1. Counter target spell. Pretty cool. That is really decent. I mean, you don't want too many of these in your deck, but if you're playing a artifact themed deck, this and Counterspell might be 2 of the better counterspells to add. I mean, outside of the ones that are super broken and are free, these 2 might be one of the better ones. Essence Capture, 2 blue for an instant counter target creature spell. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Wow, that sounds like a blowout. Maybe. It's instant. You can... I guess if you countered a combat trick of theirs and then put a +1/+1 counter on one of yours to then beat down another card, then you can like 2-for-1 them while countering. It sounds pretty painful. It's actually a pretty good blue trick. Futurist Operative, 3 colors, 1 blue for a creature human ninja. As long as Futurist Operative is tapped, it's a human citizen with base power and toughness 1/1 and can't be blocked. Wait, as long as it's tapped. So does that mean when you attack with it, you tap it, it instantly becomes a 1/1 that cannot be blocked? 2 colors, 1 blue, untapped Futurist Operative. So it's a 4 mana, 3/4 blocker that you can pay 3 to untap, but when you swing in with this, it becomes a 1/1 that cannot be blocked. Cool, bit tricky, keep an eye on that one. Futurist Sentinel, 3 colors, 1 blue for a 6/6 artifact vehicle with crew 3, nothing else, it's fine. Go Shinata of Lost Wisdom, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 0/4 legendary enchantment creature shrine. Is that a really big cloudy body over a building? I don't know what I'm looking at right there. I also don't understand why it's a 0/4. It's got flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of shrines you control. Yeah, it's okay. Guardians of Obaroo, 2 colorless, 1 blue for a creature Moonfolk Samurai with Defender, and it's a 3/4. Modify creature you control's attacks as though they did not have Defender. Cool. 3 mana for 3/4 with Defender, you add a +1/+1 counter on it. It becomes a 4/5 without Defender for 3 mana. That's not bad. Invoke the Winds, 1 colorless, 4 blue for a sorcery. Gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it. That is expensive. Jingataxis, Progress Tyrant, 5 colorless, 2 blue for a 5/5 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. What, is trying to stop all of the neon from happening? Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Remember, once each turn. That includes each of your opponent's turns. You could do this 4 times if you can somehow trigger it. Artifacts, instants, and sorceries. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. So if anyone wants to do something, they had to stack it up all on one person's turn, otherwise they get countered each on their turns. Kairi, the Swirling Sky, 4 colorless, 2 blue for a 6/6 legendary creature, Dragon Spirit, with flying and ward 3. Pretty good. Yeah, that's really good actually. When Kairi, the swirling sky, dies, choose one. Return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana values 6 or less from their owner's hands. And then you can mill 6, then return up to 2 instants or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Feels pretty powerful to me. Exile effects do not count as dying, I think, but March of the Swirling Mist, X and blue for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of blue cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to exile for each card exiled this way. Up to X target creatures phase out. It's kind of like a more expensive Teferi's Protection, but not as good. Mind Link Mech, 2 colors, 1 blue for a 4/3 artifact vehicle with flying. Whenever Mind Link Mech becomes crewed, for the first time each turn until end of turn, Mind Link Mech becomes a copy of target non-legendary creature that's crewed this turn, except it's a 4/3. It's a vehicle artifact in addition to its other types, and it has flying and it's got crew 1. This is actually really strong. What if you crew this with a 1/1 unblockable? It becomes a 4/3 unblockable. What if you crew this with something that pings? No, not pings. Maybe it pings its tough power. You can ping something for 4. I don't know, there's a couple of cards out there. It feels like this is a good card. You just had to find the right cards to break it. It's not legendary, so you can't break it that way. Mirror Shell Crab, 5 colors, 2 blue for a 5/7 artifact creature crab with ward 3. Sorry guys. 2 colors, 1 blue for discard. Mirror Shell Crab, counter target spell or ability unless its controller pays 3. This feels really good for a common, I'll admit. Mnemonic Sphere, 1 colorless, 1 blue for an artifact. What it costs. You can pay 1 colorless, 1 blue to sacrifice it and then draw 2 cards. So for 4 mana, draw 2 cards, it's an artifact. Or you can channel 1 blue, discard it, and draw a card. Pretty cool both ways as well. Very powerful common. Mobilizer Mech, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 3/4 artifact vehicle with flying. When Mobilizer Mech becomes crewed, up to 1 target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Pretty cool. That sounds really broken actually, because you can make that 8/8 commander a vehicle on turn 3. Turn 4. You need to play him as well. And I guess if you make him a creature on that turn, it'll have summoning sickness because it entered that turn. So that maybe it's not actually completely broken, but it still feels pretty good. Moon Circuit Hacker, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/1 enchantment creature, human ninja. Enchantment creature. Doesn't look like an enchantment, it just looks like a normal human, but ninjutsu, 1 blue. Whenever Moon Circuit Hacker deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless Hacker entered the battlefield this turn. So if you do it on the first turn, you don't have to discard a card. Not bad. Moonfolk Puzzlemaker, 2 colorless, 1 blue for a 1/4 artifact creature, Moonfolk Wizard. She seems happy. With flying, whenever Moonfolk Puzzlemaker becomes tapped, scry 1. Simple, kind of expensive, but it's a common. Moon Snare Protocol, 1 blue artifact, tap an untapped artifact or creature you control. Add colorless. Channel, pay 4 and a blue, discard the Moon Snare prototype. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the top or bottom of their library. That's really expensive. Moon Snare Specialist, 3 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/2 ninjutsu, 2 colors, 1 blue. Whenever Moon Snare Specialist enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. That's powerful. That's really good. And you can do that every turn after she comes out the first turn, so that seems very powerful. Network Disruptor, 1 blue for a 1/1 flying artifact creature, Moonfolk Rogue. When it enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. Once again, if you're doing ninjutsu, you kind of want these cheap flying evasive creatures. Planar Incision, 1 colorless, 1 blue for an instant, exile target artifact or creature, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. How big is Jingitaxis? God, I could say it right the first time, but now it said it too many times. It's all wrong. How big is he? He doesn't seem too big in the animated video that they showed that was released, but he looks massive in this. Prosperous Thief, 2 colorless, 1 blue for a 3/2 creature human ninja. With ninjutsu, 1 colorless, 1 blue. Whenever one or more ninja or rogue creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Oh my god, that is a staple in most ninja decks. The Reality Chip, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 0/4 legendary artifact creature. Equipment Jellyfish. Does that win? Look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Reconfigure, 2 colorless, 1 blue. That is absolutely insane. This could be a very interesting commander deck. Keep an eye on Reality Chip. That could make a very interesting commander deck. Reality Heist, 5 colorless, 2 blue for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 artifact cards from among them, put them into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. This could cost just 2 blue at instant speed. Reorganize. It doesn't even reorganize, you just put it into your hand and you get rid of the rest of them. Replication Specialist, 4 colorless, 1 blue for a creature Moonfolk Artificer. With flying, whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 colorless, 1 blue. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. Feels pretty powerful to me, but obviously a bit expensive to start it off. Still pretty good. Cyber Trespasser, 4 colorless, 1 blue for a 3/5 artifact creature Moonfolk Rogue. With Channel, 3 colorless, 1 blue. Discard Cyber Trespasser. Tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. Those creatures don't untap during their control's next untap step. Short Circuit, 1 colorless, 1 blue for enchantment Aura with Flash. Enchant artifact or creature, as long as enchanted permanent is a creature, gets -3, -0 and loses flying. There's better cards out there for disabling, but it's a common. Sky Swimmer Koi. Fish. Yeah, that's a fish. 3 colorless, 1 blue for a 3/3 creature fish. With flying, whenever a artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. That's insane. It doesn't say artifact token. It doesn't say anything fancy. It just says artifact. This seems like a good way to go infinite and just draw your entire deck out. Not bad for a common. Spell Pierce. 1 blue for an instant. Counter target non-creature spell and this is controller pays 2. We've seen this many times, but that's cool art. He is breaking through that so easily. For all their planning, Tamio and Kaito were unprepared to face the full power of a Phyrexian Praetor. How powerful is he? Like, what can you do? Like, it's just so weird. Suit Up, 2 colorless, 1 blue, instant. Until the end of turn, target creature or vehicle becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/5 and draw a card. Very nice combat trick. Tameshi Reality Architect, 2 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/3 legendary creature Moonfolk Wizard. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to their hand, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay. Pay X and a white. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to your hand, draw a card. This feels very powerful and value. Like, oh my god, this card is a card drawing engine and a graveyard return for enchantments. Had to see how that one works, but keep an eye on Tameshi. And last couple, Camio's Completion. I'm sure there's a better way to say it. 3 colorless, 1 blue for enchantment Aura. Doesn't look like whatever's happening to us too good. Flash, enchant creature, artifact, or planeswalker. When Camio's completion. That's not how you spell completion, but I think that's that other word. I'm sure that word means exactly what it is. Enter the battlefield, tap enchanted permanent. If it's an equipment, unattach it. Enchanted permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Ouch. It's common, but man, what's happening to him? Looks really creepy. Tesseract, Betrayer of Flesh. 2 colorless, 2 blue for legendary Planeswalker Tesseract. The first activated ability of an artifact you control each turn costs 2 less to activate. Not bad. Pay 1, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. Plus 1. -2, target artifact becomes an artifact creature. If it isn't a vehicle, it has base power and toughness for 4. Cool. -6, you get an emblem whenever an artifact you control becomes trapped. Draw a card. Yeah, pretty powerful. Thirst of Knowledge, 2 colors, 1 blue for an instant, draw 3 cards. Discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. And last blue, Thousand Face Shadow, 1 blue for a 1/1 creature, human ninja. Ninjutsu, 2 colorless, 2 blue with flying. When Thousand Face Shadow enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token that's a copy of another attacking creature. That token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. Pretty cool. If it's a legendary creature, I'm sure they'll wipe each other out, but you get the Enter the Battlefield ability. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching and have a good one. I'll come back with the black set review next time. See ya.